are back today with a goddamn live stream. Give me a one if everything looks good to go. Are you nervous? Whenever.
I mean, how could I not be nervous? You know, this is a big event hanging with you, Filian.
Really? I'm actually really nervous too, because I remember I sent in the questions to ask, like, anything I wanted, and you guys didn't even say no to any of them. Like, I asked some of the top streamers questions. Whenever.
Well, Filian, first of all, one reason you dressed up for our event today. I love the new dress.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I even put together this entire podcast studio for it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, as I was telling you earlier, this is my first time in the virtual world. So getting over here a little complicated. Figuring out how to get here. The Uber driver was a little confused about the address to be in the virtual world, but I'm here.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's great.
This room kind of looks more like the back rooms than like an actual virtual world, but hey, it's the intersection between man and anime, the final frontier. Whenever.
We were saying earlier, we're coming together. It's all being unified, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start with a little bit of a capture. I got to make sure you're real. You're not an alien or anything. So, who are you, and what's your title?
So, I'm Dan Clancy. My title is CEO of Twitch. And one of the things I jokingly said when people ask, what are you most looking forward to when I became CEO is because previously I was president, and I can tell you my kids really enjoyed it when I took this new role. And the main reason is because they didn't have to explain what I did. Because the title was more, they'd say, President, what do you do? I don't know. But then they tell their friends that their dad's CEO of Twitch, and now they become much cooler.
Wait, so you did it for the kids?
I did. I'm doing it for the kids. Really, it's really
for
the
man.
Kids,
Man, you're such a family guy, a bit of an American dad. That's cool. How long have you been CEO for then?
Oh, let's see. I guess it was January.
The correct reason to become a CEO.
So. Yeah. So 5-6 months.
Gotcha.
But I've been at Twitch now for about 4 years, and my role isn't all that different from what it was before.
So I started streaming like 2 years ago, so you got like twice the years on me, but...
There you go.
Yeah, do you actually use the platform yourself? Like, do you watch streamers? Whenever.
What I do, it's interesting because people ask, who are your favorite streamers? One thing that I say that for me, I peruse the platform. So in fact, I'm not a usual watcher because I do watch streamers because I think it's important for me. Sometimes I sit and I watch your stream, Filian.
Wait, really?
Yes, because it's important for me to get a feeling for what everyone's doing. And so I follow people right and left, and then I'll watch someone for 20-30 minutes or something like that. And I'm not a normal watcher in that most people will only watch like 8 people in a week or something like that.
Yeah. And
for much longer, where like most of your community here, they'll sit on here for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and I usually peruse more. As I've said, I'm not a gamer, so it means in terms of watching someone play Valorant for 2 hours. I'm not going to watch someone play Valorant for 2 hours, but I will watch someone play Valorant for 15-20 minutes to get a feel for their stream. So I kind of wander around the site a lot.
Well, speaking of wandering around, I did a bit of my own, and I actually found something a little bit interesting. I heard that you've been streaming lately.
That is true. I've been enjoying it a great deal.
I'm kind of curious, what does the CEO of Twitch actually do on a live stream? Whenever.
First of all, let me talk about internally they asked me, what did I learn and why do you do it? And the first few times I did it, I wanted to do it just to experience it. But now I do it. I don't have to keep doing it. But the reason I do it, whenever, most streamers with 30 or 40 people watching them do it is because it's fun, right? I do it every Wednesday night. In fact, I'm doing it tonight. So anyone who wants to see me stream, I usually do it from 7 to 10 every Wednesday night because I've learned schedule matters. Okay.
Right.
So I try to keep my schedule. Whenever, challenging because I have a day job. But it's fun. It's fun, for the community to interact. I mostly sing on the stream because
you sing on your stream? No way. I'm so nervous to ever sing on my stream. You actually do that?
Have you sung on your stream?
Yeah, a couple of times. It's a little bit scary for me.
Filian, you know what I'm thinking?
No.
One of these times we're gonna do a duet. One of these times. Oh yes. Oh yes.
No.
Oh yes. Oh yes, we are definitely chat. Y'all want to hear Filian do a duet with me? Let's see what Chat has to say. Let's see what Chat has to say. Okay. I see a massive hype train going with you doing a duet here, Filian, at some point.
Oh God, yeah. I don't know if High School Musical with the Twitch CEO is in my best interest, but I can try.
Yeah, or
Sing
actually we
tequila.
could do like whatchamacallit, the new what Little Mermaid's coming out. Can't you do an Ariel song there?
Sure. Under the sea, under the sea. That's all I know.
But yeah, so in fact, I really enjoy the thing that's interesting, I think it is one thing that I find interesting, in terms of your stream that, of course, one of the challenges is just having something that you can just do. And, so I'll certainly chat, engage with the audience. I like to use guest star, but part of what I need to do is just have something that then I can always do. And the thing is, I can always play a song. So I sit there and I'll do other stuff, but the thing I can always do is play a song. So that's been really fun.
Right. Heck yeah. I mean, are you down to give like a demo right now, maybe, or?
I mean, again, what I'd love to do is do a duet, but I don't think that's gonna work.
Not
right
today.
now.
Not today.
Not
Nope.
today. But I would be happy to play a song for your chat.
Sure. So you're gonna sing it a cappella?
No, I have a piano here because this is
What?
Yeah, I have a piano here. This is a room that they have a piano in,
Whenever
I'm in Twitch right now, and normally I usually stream from my house, but I'm streaming tonight, so they had this piano set up since I'm going to stream tonight from Twitch as opposed to being at my house.
That's so cool. Okay, no, I'm ready. I'm ready for the Fiverr demo. Whenever.
All right, let's see. So I have to figure out what song I'm going to sing. Okay. And I'll say probably in terms of the stuff I sing, it's usually kind of singer-songwriter, Americana. So I'm not sure if it overlaps with your audience. Okay.
It'll be good. They'll love it.
I know we'll enjoy it. So, but I will throw something out to see if I will give, having too many choices are too confusing, right? But if anyone has a preference, then I'll put it out there, but you have to say it, which is if anyone has a strong preference between a Zach Bryan song or a Tyler Childers song.
Whenever.
Zach who? Tyler who?
Yeah.
Let's see. We don't see anyone. I have to wait a few seconds. What you talking about? I'm not going to do Country Roads. I already done that one.
They love me singing that song. You're doing so well. Audience interaction. It's actually crazy.
Okay, we've got one Tyler. We've got two Tylers.
Tyler won, baby.
All right, let's see. Johnny Cash. I don't have any Johnny Cash, although I do like Johnny Cash. Let's see. We've got, so far, Tyler's got two. Frank Sinatra. Ooh, now there's an interesting one. All right, a Tyler and then a Zach. So right now, Tyler's winning a Zach. We've got three Tylers and two Zachs. Okay. Oh, three Zachs. And if it's tied, I'm going to go with Zach. Okay. A Ms. Kip song. I'm not going to do a Ms. Kip song. Zach. All right. Zach just went ahead, so I'm going to go with Zach. Okay. Bob Dylan. There is a Bob Dylan song I love to do. But I'll tell you this story. For those who don't know Zach Bryan, the thing I love about it is in terms of music, I'm kind of a lyrics guy. I like lyrics that tell a story. And the thing I love about Zach Bryan, he is a country artist, but he's not a normal country artist because all of his songs tell stories. And this song is he's lamenting a relationship that he kind of knows has ended, but he won't admit that it's ended because he keeps thinking that it's going to keep going. But the reality is he knows she's like moved on. And so it's called Something in the Orange. So let's just jump in.
I did not expect a history lesson today. That's crazy. Yeah, go for it. All right.
It'll be fine by dustlight, I'm telling you, baby. These things eat at your bones and drive your young mind crazy. If you place your head between my collar and jaw, I don't know much, but there's no weight at all. I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't. If I say I miss you, I know that you won't. I miss you in the mornings when I see the sun. Something in the orange tells me we're not done. To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? Pausing myself again, something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. You leave today, I'll just stare at the way the orange touches all things around. Grass, trees, and dew, how I just hate you. Please turn those headlights around. I need to hear you say you've been waiting all night. There's orange dancing in your eyes from bulb light. Your voice only trembles when you try to speak. Take me back to us dancing, this wood used to creak. To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? Pausing myself again, something in the orange tells me you're never coming home.
Whenever,
You leave today, I'll just stare at the way the orange touches all things around. Grass, trees, and dew, how I just hate you.
Whenever,
those
plug
headlights around.
Whenever,
To you I'm just a man, to me you're all I am. Where the hell am I supposed to go? Pausing myself again, something in the orange tells me you're never coming home. You leave today, I'll just stare at the way the orange touches all things around. Grass, trees, and dew, how I just hate you. Please turn those headlights around. Please turn those headlights around. All right.
What the heck?
How was that?
It was good. It sounded great. Honestly, I didn't expect the CEO of Twitch to end up like a random dude I find on Omegle, but I mean, that's pretty sick.
Well, we're all random dudes, right?
Holy frick.
We're all just random people.
Yeah, that's fair. Some of us virtual.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Wait, so you sing and you stream in your free time. Do you do anything else in your free time? Like, that seems like a lot between that and running Twitch.
Yeah, so let's say I love the outdoors, so spend a lot of time. So, but two things, the themes. I spend a lot of time with my kids. I have a 24-year-old daughter, 21-year-old son. Spend a lot of time in the outdoors. Lately I've started kayaking a lot, whitewater kayaking the last 3 years. I actually have also done a couple Ironmans. I didn't start doing that till a few years ago, and then love to mountain bike and hike, and so in general, I try to stay pretty active.
Oh, heck yeah. You know, actually, it's kind of convenient you mentioned kayaking because I actually had Twitch, with your permission, send me a couple of clips, and one of them was kayaking. You mind if I pull it up?
All right. I don't, and I think the one they sent you, so I'll set this up. So I'll tell the story basically. My son and I started basically right about during COVID. And so you'll start, this is my son down in Chile.
Is that you in front?
No, I'm not in this one.
Okay.
He and I went down to Chile, but now this is the punchline right here. Let's see, it's coming. This is one where you're gonna go, oh my gosh.
Jesus.
So he and I went and spent, and there we go. We've gone down the 70-foot waterfall.
70 feet?
Now, I do not kayak this extreme. This is my son who is, but we started at the same time. He's just gotten a lot better than me.
Okay.
And, that was some clips from, he was down there for 3 months, And so I live up in the Pacific Northwest, so we kayak a ton. But I went down there. I actually was down in Futalefu a year ago, and was spending like 3 weeks kayaking with him. So love being out on the water. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really fun. What's harder, navigating the leadership of Twitch or trying to navigate that?
It's good because they both have their problem. When I'm kayaking, you always have to watch out because they have what are called holes, where you end up in this hole and then you get stuck in the hole. And I guess that's kind of like what can happen in social media. You never know when you're saying something, you end up in this social media hole where everyone's jumping on top of you about everything.
Yeah, shout out
So
Twitter.
I think they're both challenging.
Gotcha. Well, I also heard you two aren't the only talented people in the family. Your daughter Savannah, she also sings, right?
She's a singer-songwriter. In fact, one reason I learned the piano in high school, but I probably didn't start singing and performing regularly till, in fact, she was doing it. And so yeah, her name is Savannah Clancy. And just this last Friday, she put out her first song on Spotify.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yup.
And so, in fact, I think someone should check. I think her Twitch handle is Savannah Clancy Music or Savannah Collaborations. No, someone in chat search Twitch for Savannah Collaborations.
Shout out Savannah.
That's her Twitch channel, Savannah Collaborations. So that way people here know her Twitch channel. But really on Spotify, she just released it. She's doing all the recording herself, and I think you have the video that actually I helped her shoot because she says, "Dad, come be the cameraman for the video I'm making for this song."
Wow, you used to be a cameraman? That's crazy.
No, I didn't, and you will notice
whenever
that I'm not a very good cameraman. So I'll actually play the song, and you'll see, wow, it's a nice video, except for whoever that cameraman is.
So you're going from CEO to Twitch streamer to cameraman.
Yes.
Interesting progression. All right, let us go ahead. Press this bad boy. Hey, there it is. Very fantastic camera work. Ta-da! That's pretty neat.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to do one thing here. I'm going to. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to say. Okay, got it. Chat rules. So, what am I doing here? I'm not going to. Here, I'm going to put in here. It is. I'll type it so people can find it. I should send the link, but.
Okay. Sure. You're going to plug the daughter's Twitch. That's valid.
So definitely enjoy it. I think the thing that I love about her first album is all basically about nature, and so she's very connected to the very grounded in what she does. And so her first album that she's recording now is called Roots in the Water, and all the songs are about her connection to nature. So that song, of course, is, if you listen to the lyrics, a part of the hungry love is this connection and this love for nature. And I really love the kind of immediacy, and it's much like many Twitch streamers, sometimes she'll just write something and it just comes out, right? And so appreciate anyone listening, because I enjoyed her music a lot.
Yeah, sounds like she'd play a druid in World of Warcraft. But I mean, honestly, like, your whole family sounds pretty talented. You guys are giving the Smiths some competition. So hopefully the home life's going a bit better than theirs. But besides that, I mean, I think that's pretty much like for your family. So let's get back to you. How did you end up at Twitch? Like, how does one even become the second CEO of Twitch? What is your anime backstory?
Yeah. So here's the way. First of all, by the way, one thing I often say is I think becoming the CEO, the biggest thing is I really felt like it was quite an honor, because and I feel a lot of responsibility in the role, because it's a platform that, over 7 million people use it to stream every month, over 1 million make money, and it's central to their lives and the communities that are built. And so I feel a lot of kind of responsibility with respect to that. But really, if I tell my backstory, it's really kind of, I've done a whole bunch of different things that led me to here.
Did you major in computer science, or did you have one of those weird routes where you went from like, I'm going to be an aerospace engineer, and somehow you ended up at Twitch?
Yeah, I ended up. I was a computer science major, and we'll come back to this. I also was a theater major, interestingly.
What? Okay.
Yeah, but we'll come to that. And I decided to use my computer science degree. I eventually got my PhD in AI, and this was back when AI wasn't cool and it wasn't going to take over the world at that point in time. And then I worked at NASA for a while, where I ran a lot of their kind of AI and robotics. I was at Google for a long time, where I ran a project called Google Book Search, and I was at YouTube for a
Okay.
while. And then I did a startup called Nextdoor, which is a social network for the neighborhood community. And then I'm at Twitch. So I've really done a bunch of different things throughout my career.
Yeah, you're like the effing Dos Equis commercial where the dude just does effing everything. He is the most interesting man alive. What the heck? So you double majored in theater and computer science. Those things like aren't connected at all.
Yeah, so I often jokingly say I tell a story because when I was an undergrad, I tell people I'm a computer science theater major, and back then computer science people didn't really know what computer science was. In fact, an interesting where I'm aging myself here. My first computer science course, we programmed the computer with cards. Now nobody may know what this means.
The hole punch.
We had a stack of cards that you'd write your program as a stack of cards and you'd put it in a machine.
You had a
And then the
Yu-Gi-Oh
machine would
deck.
read it.
Okay.
And that was when I was a freshman. So yes, I'm old. But people used to say, oh, computer science and theater, they would say, oh, you must be into computer lighting because they're looking for the
Oh, for theater
intersection.
lighting.
Yeah, theater lighting. They're like, oh, because they're looking for the intersection of my interests. And I often say, I think we always try to put people in boxes because it's easier to organize the world and think of people as these singular entities. I mean, you are, an anime character with lots of interest and talents, right? You're not just an anime character, right? So I really kind of see that I happen to go into my technical path, but I kind of see Twitch as kind of the culmination of this because creating was a big part of my life in high school and college. I spent much more time doing theater than computer science. Okay. And my brother runs a theater in New York. My other brother, he runs the Fred Rogers Company, which is, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And so there's a whole separate side of my life where I think I could have been a creator. And so in some ways, Twitch is this epitome of bringing together my interests from, when I was in college and I was doing theater with my computer background.
That actually kind of makes sense. Is that how you got the job? You told him that?
I told him that. I don't know if that's how, yeah, I guess they said, oh, well, there are not many of you around.
Yeah, that would have gotten you into Harvard. That's sick.
Oh, my sister said she's an actress. My sister is on here. There you go. I
Ooh.
just saw her. Yes.
Mhm.
And yes, she is an actress too. I'm sorry to leave you out.
I see. I think I see the backstory now. What does the actual CEO of Twitch do, like at Twitch? Like, what are your responsibilities?
So, I mean, really, my job is to set our strategic direction because most of the work is done by other people in the org, right? I don't do the work; everyone else does the work. My job is to sort of set the direction. I need to spend a lot of time. One reason why I love coming on streams like this is spending time in the community. There are certain key decisions that I need to make, but most of what I'm doing is coordinating what other people do.
Okay, got it. So a lot of coordination. So, like, how many people do you manage as a CEO then?
So I won't talk about exactly how many people, but it's a reasonable size org, right? Because we
Is it
have a
like a
bunch of stuff.
ballpark?
Yeah, it's bigger than a bread box and smaller than a football
Okay.
field, right? So and maybe that's why I should say it. It's bigger than a classroom gathering, but smaller than a stadium, right? Or something like that. But it's the reality is we break it up into a range of functions because of course product and engineering is a big part, but safety is a big part. We have a team that relates with our partners, so a bunch of different folks.
Got it. So, like, the two largest SKUs are sort of safety and trust and safety, and then like engineering.
No, I'd say you'd break it up broadly into, you know, product and engineering,
Hmm.
our kind of go to market, which is our relationship with our streamers and our marketing and how, because supporting our streamers is a huge part of what we do. Um, and then trust and safety, of course, is an important component. And then there's general kind of operational stuff. So I'd say really I'd break it into those 4 units.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Well, I think that's a lot of the introduction stuff out of the way. So I think for the bulk of this interview, I wanted to divide into 3 different sections. The first is going to be things like related to Twitch's growth, like how you want to see Twitch grow in the future and what you think about it. The second section would be like monetization. What do you think about the current state of it? Where you'd like to see that go in the future? And the third one would be like discoverability on Twitch as a platform itself, and like how you'd like to see that head for the future. So yeah, with that getting said, you might as well just get into the questions. So let's talk about some growth. All right.
All right.
I'm gonna throw this question out. You know, some may call it a softball. I call it a conversation starter. Do you think Twitch will be around in 10 years?
Oh, absolutely, 100%, without a doubt. And the interesting thing about Twitch, in fact, part of the magic of Twitch is its consistency. That people, the community of Twitch is deeply entrenched, and it's because of the creators. Let's be clear. I think Twitch is very unique. They're here for the creators. What we offer to the viewers is the creators, and that platform for let them create. And Twitch doesn't grow like virally off the top of the charts or something like that without TikTok, but there's a ton of consistency. And so I am literally 100% sure that Twitch will still be thriving 10 years from now.
Heck yeah. You mentioned that Twitch is a real unique platform. What do you mean by that exactly? Is it the fact that it's got a primary focus on long form live streaming, or?
Yeah, if you look at our focus, like people often group us in with social media platforms, right? Oh, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, because we, of course, we are a social platform, but we're a long form entertainment platform. We're not used like people use TikTok or Instagram or even YouTube or Facebook for that matter, which usually predominantly mobile. They get a little bit of time, they open it up. We really are about, I'm going to spend some time. And the thing that's so unique about this is, the phrase I use is, it's a synchronous community. And you see this in your chat where people get to know who's there. Okay. And you have the same people who keep showing up. And so community is central to us. And I think we're really unique because while there are other platforms that have live streaming, they are features, not the product. Okay.
Right. I can think of a
And
couple competitors like that.
right. If you think of it, be it YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, they all have live streaming. Product's not the same. And the difference is Twitch gives creators a stage. So when you're streaming on Twitch, you're on your page, it's your stage. And we design it so that your community stays there with you until they decide to go somewhere else. Other platforms, you're using their stage. So if you look at someone live streaming on Instagram in the feed, you enjoy it, but everyone on Instagram, after they stare at Instagram, swipes. That's just what you do on TikTok or Instagram. You
Right.
swipe to the next thing, right? And on YouTube, everyone from watching VODs are conditioned. They're watching YouTube. If you get a little bored, look to the bottom right, click a related video. Okay. And the YouTube platform is optimized for VODs. It's a great platform. Okay. Because it's optimized at look to the right if you get a little bored. And so the reality is people don't stay as long. Right. And you'll look at this, and the number of people that were here at the beginning, that are here at the end, you see that where people stay with a creator. And I think that's what makes it so unique. And I think one reason folks, hold this to such a high standard is because we are unique. They don't want to go anywhere else. Our creators are like, this is a place where I build a community and engage with that community. And it's important for us to protect that for them.
That makes sense. But it has like a couple of caveats with it that I'd imagine, which is like if you're standing on someone else's stage, as is in the case with YouTube or TikTok, it allows you to get pushed to the very top of the pile very quickly if your content is deemed to be like high quality. Whereas Twitch, in many ways, if you have a stage with your supported community, it may be more consistent for those large creators, but it can also make it hard for discoverability for smaller creators.
You just, by the way, not just for small, for every, you just articulated exactly what is the conundrum of long form live.
Right.
That the magic of long form live, the thing that makes, somebody said chat isn't as good. That's because it's people moving in and out of chat,
Right.
as opposed to people staying. And I often say this where if you take TikTok, everyone here is a TikTok user. Think of how many creators you're exposed to on TikTok in a week.
How many thirst traps have I seen?
Right. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Right. And then when you think, if you're a Twitch user, how many creators do you spend time with on Twitch? The answer is 10, 12, 15, right? And so short form is optimized for discovery, but not optimized for community.
Right.
And Twitch has built something that's optimized for community. And once you have a community, that they stay with you. And that really matters.
Makes sense. So basically, in the scheme of it, you see Twitch as more of like the tortoise that wins the race when it comes to like sustainability, basically.
I don't, but by the way, as opposed to, I don't think it's even a race because the reality is
Sure. Yeah.
other platforms are trying to do something else. We are the only one, like, in the end, you know, YouTube makes it, the VOD business is a great business. TikTok is a hell of a business. Okay. The people who spend time streaming on Twitch, it's because they love that experience of the interaction in the community. And so I think we are really unique in terms of a long form community-based social media platform. And so I don't think it's about, interestingly, a lot of times people focus on winning. For me, I don't think it has anything to do with winning in the competition. Our challenge is we have to grow the pie. We want more people enjoying live form, community-based, entertainment, and that's our job, is to grow the pie.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. Well, COVID was, I guess speaking of long-term predicaments, COVID was bad for the world, but it was good for the internet overall in terms of, people being engaged with it. And I'm wondering, like, as a new CEO, do you think it's realistic to reach those really high COVID numbers that we had back in 2021 anytime soon?
Yeah, the interesting thing, is you're talking about anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on what soon is. I
Sure.
think we are going to continue to grow. Do I think suddenly we see this massive return in the next year? No. Okay. People are spending other time doing other things. Okay. For me, though, what it is a
Pluggy pluggy.
testament of is the number of people that are out there that if we can just expose them in the right way, enjoy Twitch and enjoy community-based interactive streaming, because we grew a ton, more people to re-engage
Mhm.
and help find ways to get them engaged with Twitch. So I think over time, the answer is emphatically yes.
Right. So you seem to think that Twitch has like a large audience out there that just hasn't discovered the fact that long form community oriented live stream content is like a really great thing, basically?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people that don't, and I think my view is COVID was a testament to that, because you look at
Hmm.
all the usage that just shot up. And these are people, there were people that weren't using Twitch regularly that now, when they had more spare time, they started using Twitch and they enjoyed us, right? So I think there are a lot of people, it takes time, and you kind of need to really learn the magic and find your community. You need to find your home, and it's different for everyone.
Right.
So yeah, I think there are a lot of people out there that enjoy it.
Do you have like any sort of estimate in your mind, like, oh, like maybe like there'd be like twice as many people out there that would be down for the content that just haven't found it yet, as opposed to what's already on Twitch right now?
Yeah, I mean, one way to think of this is like we roughly doubled during COVID,
Hmm.
and now we're still bigger than where we thought we would be at this point. So
Okay.
while we definitely have
Interesting.
gotten
Interesting.
smaller, if we go back
Hmm.
3 years to where we thought we'd be in 2023, we're bigger than where we thought we would be.
Right.
Okay, but we doubled during COVID, and one way that I think it just seems obvious that for every person that found us in COVID, there's got to be another person or two that just didn't happen to take the time, right?
I
So
see,
I
yeah.
think there are a lot of people out there that if they spend the time and find the right creators, find the right, that yeah, they would love the experience.
Right. So from your perspective, COVID was basically drops enabled for Twitch, right?
Yes,
Yeah, and then you'd suspect like approximately like 2 or 3 times as many people are still out there.
eventually, yes. I think there are folks out there. I do think one thing we need to do, which is one thing we're working on, is
Mhm.
make it that they can enjoy Twitch even when they have less time. I think one of the challenges is we
Exactly.
all
Okay,
get
yeah, yeah,
busy.
yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, we'll talk more about that. That's a really cool topic to think about.
Yeah.
Something about clips maybe. But
Yes.
yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that later on. But as far as like, growing Twitch for the future right now, how like would you like to see Twitch grow to reach all these people for the
Yeah.
future?
So I think the foundation of Twitch growing
Mhm.
starts with tools that help our creators create, because the magic of user generated content and of Twitch is that we are taking advantage of the creative ability that we all have. So one way I said, everybody is a creator. Everybody has the ability to express themselves.
Right.
And we all express ourselves differently, right? You're an anime character expressing yourselves as a VTuber, right?
Woohoo.
And like we've seen VTubing grow because that's a way that some people want to express themselves. So, the tool we're using right now, Guest Star, is something we built to make it easier for creators to engage both with their audience and with other creators. So, for example, one of the things that we're doing come later this summer that I'm very excited about is making it easy with Guest Star so that streamers can hang out with each other and
Right.
collaborate with each other and interact with each other. Because a big part of it isn't just engaging with your audience. It's like another streamer drops in and hangs with you, and then two more hang out. It's almost, this is what happens in VR chat and in GTA role playing. There's something about just being able to hang out with folks. And so a big part of growth is going to be create tools that make it easier for creators to create content consistently.
I see. And then basically the more community-oriented content might resound better with community-oriented people, or like
I think, yeah.
how are people like off of Twitch going to like sort of find this content and come to Twitch through that?
A big way that they often find the content is through other social media platforms, which I
Right.
think is a big part. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, they're Twitch's best friends, as anyone who streams on Twitch knows.
I
People
might
are
know.
using those platforms. Yes, and the way I often say about it is the content should find the audience, and then you bring the audience back to the content. So as you create short form content, you engage, new people engage with Filian, and then you bring them back and say, if you really want to hang with me, this is where you hang.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly what I do at this point. So that makes sense to me. So you're saying like Twitch's main way to find like new people to come and actually visit the platform is through these sort of like short form content / like summary videos that get posted on other social medias?
It's through our creators that the reason our viewers come, they don't come for Twitch, the platform. By the way, this is different than TikTok.
Right. People go to TikTok for sure.
People go to TikTok for TikTok, and then TikTok says, don't worry about our creators. We'll swap them in and out. They're
So
all
fast.
interchangeable.
So fast. Yeah, they're all replaceable.
They're all replaceable. Everyone's replaceable. People come to Twitch because they build an affinity with a creator and they want to spend more time with that creator. So the way we get people to love Twitch is they find a creator they like. And if they're not using Twitch right now, the way they're going to find a creator they like is through YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And then they're going to say, let me go check them out when they're live.
Right.
Okay. And then they're going to, after watching this one creator, then they're going to say, well, let me find someone else. Right. And someone else and someone else. And then eventually they get bonded to Twitch, the platform, because now they found 5, 6, 7 creators that they like.
Yep.
Right. And so now they can just show up and there's something there that they enjoy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But at that point, it puts a lot of like impetus on the creators, right? So I guess like if creators are the cornerstone of Twitch, and basically are the face of Twitch, then like how do you see, you as a CEO keeping Twitch creators happy to stay on the platform for years to come, especially as like new competition pops up and are buying people out, for example?
Yeah. Part of this is, I think, there is a lot of space for career. We have a lot of creators. Okay. And I think in the past we had always had trepidation about creators leaving. Okay, because they get bought out by somebody. And my view is I'm excited for that creator that they get some big paycheck.
True.
Okay?
Thanks, Mixer.
Yes. And so the fact that Mixer gave, Shroud and Ninja a big paycheck, high five Ninja and Shroud. They got their start on Twitch. Okay. And they made a lot of money. Okay. If you look at the top YouTube live streamers, all of them started out on Twitch. Okay, if you look at the top 10. Okay.
That's so true, actually. Yeah, that's true.
And so I don't mind that at all, because if one of those person leaves, you know what happens? Then viewers go to other creators. Okay. So as one leaves, then there are other, it's not like we have a shortage of people with creative, entertaining ability, Filian. So as our bigger creator leaves, you're going to get bigger. Okay. And then if you let someone below you gets bigger. So I'm a big believer that it's not about holding on, right?
Mhm.
It's about these people are creators, different interests. We build a platform,
Mhm.
we will keep attracting creators. Okay.
Yeah.
And our creators, they're streamers on Twitch, but they also create on other platforms, right?
That
And
makes
that is
sense.
fine by me.
Okay. So do you feel it seems like you think that platform loyalty is sort of bigger than the actual streamer loyalty itself? Say for example, if this creator goes to Twitch, their followers won't just all leave Twitch and just watch their creator.
Because the reality is those other platforms aren't optimized. They don't have the depth of creators. I mean, the
Mhm.
magic of Twitch is all of our torso creators, right? So,
True.
Filian, you've gotten pretty large, but you remember back when you probably had, 300 or 400 ACCV, right?
Yep.
Um, and the magic of Twitch is, and those communities are very tight, right? Because when you have this smaller community, it feels more intense because there's only a few hundred of you or
It
something that
does.
might be
I
at any
do
time.
remember that. Reading every single chat message, knowing their names and faces, absolutely.
And one of the things you have to do as a creator, you have to shift because right now you can't keep track of all the chat messages and all the people.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So that is like Twitch has so many creators. Okay. And these other platforms, as I said, they're not optimized for the live streamer. Like it's optimized for what, which is fine. It's like it's a great platform for that, right?
Mhm.
So which is one reason why we, got rid of that exclusivity clause because the idea is, look, we think we're the best place. We're actually not just think, we know we're the best place for you to build community for live streaming.
Right.
Some people
I
may go
agree.
try something else, but we will have lots of creators here engaging in building community.
Right. Okay. It's really interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. Then we had like people getting bought out to go to other websites, et cetera, et cetera. I know Twitch used to sort of do this where they would secure their streamers to stay on their web platform through Twitch contracts, which are sort of going the way of the dinosaur, the dodo. They're kind of extinct at this point. Do you see a world where Twitch contracts come back? Do you even want them to come back?
Yeah, I mean, I much prefer a world where creators have lots of options in terms of how they create.
Uh-huh.
The size of our platform is what earns your, you staying on the platform.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As you know, oftentimes for a creator, as they get bigger, a lot of the money they make is through sponsorships and other sources of revenue.
Right. Right.
Um, and really, the question is not just about how much from Twitch, it's how do they keep building their careers? And how can they bring in money from elsewhere and Twitch be a platform that helps them build that from elsewhere? So I think that is absolutely the right strategy because we focus on their diversity of interests and talents as opposed to locking them into a fixed, numbers of hours they have to stream.
Hmm.
They have this one number they have to hit. It's like, no, you have a lot of different interests. It should change and evolve over time.
That makes sense. Yeah. So you would rather, instead of giving them a contract that gives them money and potentially like demotivates them to actually try, you'd rather give them a bunch of new options like through sponsorships or whatever to sort of make their money while not locking them into a platform.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And then we have to keep earning them on our platform every day. Right. Because the reason they
Yeah.
stay is because we're the best place for them to stream.
Oh my gosh. Are you familiar with Twitch emotes by any chance?
Familiar with what?
Twitch emotes?
I am familiar with Twitch
Do you know
emotes.
Giga Chad?
Do I know GigaChat?
Yeah.
I do know GigaChat, but I'm blanking now on. I'm like, yes, I do know GigaChat, but I'm blanking on exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
It basically just means a super self-assured, strong, independent man. And I kind of feel like your
Ah,
attitude towards like creators on the platform is kind of a Giga Chad move.
that's what it is. I had heard the
We'll be the
name.
best and you'll stay here. So I respect that. All right. Well, it's interesting. Okay, cool. Well, in terms of like actually like putting together like higher fidelity things and events that can bring more people to Twitch's platform, like every year creators are trying to create large scale events. Like I think like eBuy is like basically making like the World Cup in on Twitch and a bunch of really large scale events. People are doing multi-week camps. Basically entire like game shows are just happening on Twitch all the time. So what do you think about these more like large scale events in general?
Yeah, I love them. And in fact, what you see is happening we do Rivals, of course, which is its own form of a large scale event. We do it at
Yes.
TwitchCon. And the thing I love about it, I think we've kind of, our focus, while we still do Rivals, think Rivals is a great thing. Our focus is not so much on what we produce. In fact, at times I think we had thought about, oh, what should we produce? And really the magic is creator-led things, right? The thing that the audience like is when, in fact, the best Rivals events are the ones where a creator has an idea
Yes.
and they come to us, okay? And we help them create it. I think sometimes companies get into this idea where they start being the force, and the reality is, let's let our creators create, and they will find what works for their community. And I love, Advise events, some of these other, weekend camping or other things. It's creators exploring what is entertaining for their audience, and they're the best people to figure out what they should do. And I love those events.
So you really like them. Would you like to see more higher fidelity events, like basically Mr. Beast style video events on Twitch?
I guess, when you say, would I like, okay. I believe the foundation of Twitch is the recurring content that builds community. So
as opposed to the one-offs?
The one-offs, right? So I love, if we take, Ibai as an example, right? He builds a community and then he does an event.
True.
That is an extension of his community.
Right.
Right? I'm not as big of a fan on these people on things that are just events.
Yo, shout out FaZe.
Right? Because the magic of Twitch is that regular, consistent engagement, because that's what builds community, is like people that show up regularly. So I love the events that grow from our streamers that stream regularly on Twitch.
Got it. So you like these large scale events, and you'd want to see them
whenever Paul, you like
grow more and adapt more, but you'd rather them be through the focus of, this is an extension of my community, not exactly just my community, or like a one-off, basically.
Yeah, not because you have these people that are let's be clear. I'm not opposed to them, but let's take someone. Let's take Jake Paul or Logan Paul, right?
Okay,
and they decide
Prime.
to do an event on Twitch, right? They don't stream regularly on Twitch. I'm like, fine, if you want to use Twitch, excited. I'm glad you're using it.
Heck yeah.
I don't think that grows users to Twitch.
No, yeah, you're right. They just go there and then they leave after.
Yep. So now the thing that grows users to Twitch is when someone who's streaming on Twitch regularly. I mean, I'd love to see, let's say, if you and Ibai had a boxing match.
I would absolutely punch him in the face. Absolutely.
Okay. So that absolutely would, but then you bring communities together, right? And I think all these events that bring communities together, we talked about guest star. The thing I love about guest star and collaboration is we talked about discovery. The best place for discovery to happen on Twitch is on the channels, because that's where everyone spends their time. Right? And so the best way is streamers collaborating with each other so that their communities get exposed to other streamers. And events are a great way for streamers to collaborate together.
Exactly. I love bringing creators together for events, and I want to do more of that in the future. So I totally understand that. Got it. So, okay, cool. So events that really bring the community together are just like a really big plus in your perspective. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, that definitely lines up. All right. Well, a lot of competitors are out there and they're trying to sort of catch up to Twitch in terms of features, and maybe they haven't gone quite together the philosophy of why Twitch is successful. But I'm wondering, as competitors try to catch up to Twitch with their features, what are like some new features that you like to see to keep Twitch
whenever
distinguished from
like
them? Like we have guest star and we have some other features. What else is coming down the pipeline?
So let's see what's coming, and some will be around monetization. I mean,
Okay. Yeah,
as
for
I
sure.
said, bullish on guest star. Hold on, let me see this cord. Hold on.
Okay.
One thing that we just launched, and we have a long way to go with this, but we created a clips editor. It was just the very first version, but as I said, an important thing for you is to make it really easy for you to turn a clip into a social media post.
Absolutely. So big. You're right.
And the editor still has a long way to go to be good, but to be exactly where you want it. But if you can just do a stream, find your top clips, and of course, some big streamers, I don't know about you, Filian, if you have editors. Do you have editors?
Yeah, like 4 of them. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So for you, you have professional, but now many streamers don't have editors. And the time to create social media posts is just like, oh God, and now they're tired from streaming.
Yep.
So I think that's something that can help a lot of streamers. We're working as I think, we just announced our own alerts.
I'm using the alerts
Product.
right now. I use them regularly now. Yeah, they're actually
Nice.
really nice. I like them.
Nice. And that'll make it a lot easier because I've talked to a lot of streamers about it and they said, look, I don't want to switch platforms again. As long as Twitch is committed to keep making alerts better. And part of this is we can do things that nobody else can with alerts. We can allow user customizations and
Celebrations.
other things. Yep.
Yeah. It's actually really cool. I do like it. I'm excited where Twitch alerts go for the future because there's a lot of junk you can do there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
really cool.
And you alluded to this. I mean, one thing that we want to still experiment with is how do we take advantage of the short form content that is on our platform to help?
We're gonna get to that for sure. I definitely want to talk about that. Heck yeah. Okay. Well, one more question for this sort of category is: what are, in your opinions, the biggest challenges that Twitch is, facing right now?
Well, I think you've highlighted one of them. That, in fact, as humans, we all compare where we were yesterday to where we were today.
True.
Okay.
Comparison, not a good thing.
We're relative. We're genetically engineered to be relative, not just we compare ourselves to other people, right? As opposed to saying I'm feeling good, we look at somebody else and say, oh, but they look better. Now I feel bad about myself, right? And we look at yesterday to see how we're doing and compare ourselves to today. I think ultimately, growth, because people look and we were so high on COVID and so then they don't feel good, even though what they have is actually pretty special.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like a lot larger than it was before COVID, right?
Yes. And if you go back and think, wow, I have all these people showing up to watch me and they contribute to me and I'm making a living. It's like, wow, that's like pretty amazing.
Uh-huh.
Right. And so I do think growth is something that obviously the more we can help our streamers grow, and ultimately that comes us to working to grow the platform, because you're all looking for an audience. Everyone wants to feel so. To me, I think that's a huge challenge. I think a big challenge, and this is one reason why I'm spending time with you and other streamers, is just being out there engaging with the community, because a huge part of trust, people don't trust companies, they trust people.
No, I buy that. That makes sense.
Okay. And so it's building relationships and engaging with people, like on this stream.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, if you could add like one feature to Twitch, like shoot for the moon, that you think would be really effing cool for Twitch, it could be something personal, it could be something super crazy. What would you add?
Well, actually, it's the one we're working, because if I gave you one,
Uh-huh.
right, that was super crazy, and then we're not working on it, then you'd say, well, what the heck are you guys doing? Okay. So for me, the shoot for the moon is this idea of making it, and I will talk to you about the virtual world for a second, right?
Oh, yeah, metaverse, Twitch metaverse.
I mean, the reality is Twitch is already that, right? Because people come and hang out.
Eat your heart out, Facebook. Okay.
And so what I want is to make it, while you're streaming, you can see other people that you can just go hang out with on their stream.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can see when some of your friends are hanging out, and then somebody else comes and hangs out. Okay. And you're all doing this with your communities. And then if you want, you can press a button and you bring your communities together into one meta community.
Dang,
right?
okay. That's a grand vision. Holy frick. Okay.
Okay. And I think that, because it's hard to entertain by yourself.
It is, yeah. And it gets repetitive too.
But it's easy to talk to somebody you like.
True. Very true.
Right?
Yeah.
The way I describe this is, Twitch is unique in that if you look at traditional media, there is no talk-based platform that has one person talking the whole time. Think of Howard Stern, right? Howard Stern has a sidekick with Robin, and then they have guests call in. Okay. Think of SportsCenter. SportsCenter always, or the local news, they always have 2 or 3 hosts.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So they can have a conversation, not just a stream of consciousness.
Think of The View. Think of late night. They always had a sidekick, right? Literally every single traditional media platform that is talk-based has multiple people, okay? Twitch is the only platform where you're sitting there by yourself, okay, with the community and it's a lot of work to do that. And so the more we make it so that you can just do what you do naturally, which is hang out and have those people on your stream with you, um, the more it makes it where, yeah, you can stream for longer hours because it's less tiring.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I remember when I hang out with my friends, like you can go for so much longer and it's so much more chill that way. So you want to see Twitch basically become the world's largest virtual streamer house in many ways.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yes. Yes.
Yo, Twitch clan.
And it's all coming and it flows back and forth. You're part of different groups, right? And that also allows, one of the challenges is you probably have in your community here. I wonder how many of your community stream part of the time. I'm sure
I
a
know my
huge number.
moderators even stream. Like I see my moderators streaming.
How can we make it so that all these people that are small streamers, that's one thing I love about streaming, that me streaming, because I realize, okay, this is what it's like to stream to 40 or 50 people. And then what are these things that bring 2 or 3 of them together? Okay. And now, and maybe they don't stream as many hours as you because they have a full-time job, but their community could still, you can get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 of them that when you add them up are streaming 20 to 30 hours. Okay. But each one of them can't stream 30 hours.
Right.
That's okay. You can still form community because they interact with each other.
So, is that like referring to the idea of like teams where if this member of the community isn't live, this one would be instead? Then the community can find each other?
I think, yeah, and ideally, and I don't know this idea in detail. This is an abstract idea.
Yeah,
right?
this is just like an apple in the eye or twinkle in the eye.
This is just right. You have to. So there's a channel, GPTV, Girls Play TV, which is 8 women, and they coordinate when each of them stream. But it's 8 women on one channel.
Right.
Okay, and then they figure out you're going to do Tuesday at this time. You're going to do, and that's a lot of work, right? It would be much easier if you had folks that had these loose collections. They streamed on their own channels. Okay.
Yep.
But the community all was kind of common between them. And oftentimes, if 3 of them are streaming at the same time, maybe they're hanging with each other while they're streaming. Right. But then the community, and so I don't know specifically how that works, but I know anything that allows streamers, reduces the amount of time you have to spend streamer to still engage with the community is going to allow more people to stream and more people to find community.
Got it. No, I agree. We could talk about that forever. There's like I agree with your perspective completely, but yeah. Okay, no, I totally get that. All right. Well, we should move on to monetization. I think we're a little bit behind, so I want to ask you a really big question. Up to you. Is Twitch profitable?
Let's see. The best way to answer it, I won't give you a
valid
precise answer. Okay, but I'll say for us, a big thing we need to do is to run the company so that we can have a long-term sustainable business. Right?
Okay.
A long-term sustainable business is, yes, it needs to be profitable if you're going to stay long-term. And you know how you ask this, is Twitch around here 10 years, right? It's part of my job is, yes, it absolutely needs to be around here 10 years. It's unique. If we weren't here, I think there's some things that if this thing goes away, that's okay. This other thing takes its place. Okay.
Right.
I don't think that's Twitch. Okay. I don't think that and so my job is to run this company so that we're here in the long haul. And part of that is looking at the size of the company. Is, one thing some people know is we recently reduced the size of the company because the whole point is we have to be as lean as possible. And the good news is when I look at the fundamentals of our business are very strong. In that sense that if I look at where we're at and where we're going, I feel extremely good that this business works over time. And it's a long-term sustainable business. But we have to be conscious of it because it is the fact that this is a business that's an expensive business to run.
It is, yes.
Because of the cost of streaming, everything. It's an expensive business to run. And it's our job to find a way to run it long-term.
So the better question, instead of asking is Twitch profitable, it's more like, is Twitch sustainable, basically?
Right. And my answer is absolutely yes.
Got it.
The plan where we're at right now and where we're going, and it's part of my job is to make sure that's the case.
Got it. And then a high-level overview, how do you actually feel about the current state of monetization on Twitch? I think it's pretty good. It could be better. Seems like you have some thoughts on that.
Yeah. So by the way, like obviously it can always be better.
Sure.
I think that often people don't appreciate whenever we look at something, we don't appreciate what we have. And I think the fact that we get the amount of support from audience to our streamers, and then also have advertising as a complementary form of income. We're the only social media platform that really has meaningful income on both sides. Most of them are almost all advertising or sponsorships.
That is so true. That is so true. Holy frig. Okay, that's valid. That's
Right
neat.
now, the thing that we absolutely can do,
Uh-huh.
we can do more to help streamers with sponsorships. We have a project now on that
Uh-huh.
to make those sponsorships more integrated into the product,
Mhm.
because I think that is an avenue of opportunity that streamers already do. And what we need to do is see how we can augment and enhance that, because what we have to think of is what are the sources of this streamer earning money, and one component is from their audience, which from subs and everything we do there. Another component is through advertising. Another component is through sponsorships.
That makes sense. Is this like you're talking about like a bounty board 2.0 basically, or?
Yeah, I mean, yes. So we haven't, we're experimenting right now, right?
Okay.
And so it's not exactly bounty board, but part of this is to make it more, is really to enhance existing relationships. It's not to get in between the streamers and their current sponsorships.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
was
more
wondering.
make it, yeah,
Mhm.
it's not to say, because those relationships exist and they're strong. The question is, there's some streamers that can't get to those, right? Which is what Bounty Board was trying to address, because usually those are bigger streamers, okay? But then also how to take those things and make it more organic in their engagement with the product. In other words, so that maybe it can be integrated into Hype Chat, or there's a banner or something that enhances that, a relationship. And the more we can enhance it, then that allows our streamers to go out and get more sponsorships.
Cool. Do you think you see a world where some streamers don't even bother like trying to sign with an agency to get sponsors because Twitch has enough opportunities for them?
Um, so there are already streamers that do that,
Uh-huh.
right? Um, and so the more ultimately the question is how much money ends up does the streamer take home, right? And signing with agents that help you get deals off of Twitch, I love. It's great because there's so many opportunities, and as creators, you're not just about Twitch, right? You have
Exactly.
other social media reach. So the more we can do to help matchmake, the better. I don't think we have a position on like you have an agent, you not having. That's great. That's whatever works for you.
Hmm.
So we don't have any agenda to minimize the role of agents, because our thing is we have to grow the pie.
Got it. Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah, I like how like your mindset is more of like one level abstracted from being competitive. It's more like a rising tide brings all ships with it, basically. It's actually really
Yes.
cool. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about advertisements on Twitch because I remember when the whole 70/30 thing happened, bro, like people were
Ah,
upset about it.
Filian
And the
can behave
response
like a
was,
normal person. I
maybe
just
it would
got
be better
amazed.
to, have more advertisements. And then people got upset because there were a lot of ads. But what Twitch did in response is try to make ads less intrusive, basically. What do you think about the current state of ads and where would you like to see them go?
So, for everything we do in ads, there are five other things I want to do in ads that, in fact, and so I'm
Uh-huh.
glad that people want it to continue to improve. So it
Yes.
started with we needed to adjust the rev share. Okay, because the problem was when we came out, it used to be, for those that don't know, the way we used to do it was a flat, what's called CPM, or a flat amount for each time an ad was run. And when we introduced that many years ago, it was actually a generous offer because we weren't making much money from ads.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, our ads have become more lucrative. Like we do a better job with ads, but we had that model. And so we changed it. So it's a rev share split, much like YouTube, 55% net rev share split. And that means the creators earn more money from ads. And the reality is, and that's called the AIP program, the ads incentive program. And
Yes.
that morphed. It had various different forms of it. But I've talked to a ton of creators, and the problem was the reason they hated ads is they weren't making money from ads. Um, most creators have ads on their YouTube channel. Okay.
Yep.
Um, so I do think I've seen a marked sentiment change when they look at it and say, yeah, this like money matters to me. But then we need to improve the experience for our viewers. So we're working now to minimize ads in the discovery experience. I think this is something that all of us experience. They're checking out a channel for the first time and there's a pre-roll, right? And it's better to have mid-rolls. So our general philosophy is we want to move more towards mid-rolls as opposed to, pre-rolls and discovery.
I agree.
Um, we're,
I agree.
we're spending a lot on non-interruptive ads. So in fact, a lot of people, we now have these lower display
The
ads.
banner ads are very nice. I do not really mind those that much. Those are really
Yep.
good.
Yep. And we need to grow that business, right? Because part of this is, and the other thing is making it easy for you to control your ads so that, like right now, we have the ability, but most streamers don't even know that they can pause an ad that's coming up, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
because it's buried in their ads dashboard, and it's like, yeah, but I don't have that open, right? We need to make it easier for you to figure out when is the right time for an ad on your platform, right? Make them less interruptive in different formats. So I think we've got all sorts of stuff we're trying to improve the experience, which will both drive more money for you and then minimize the impact on viewers.
Right. And in terms of making Twitch more sustainable, we know Twitch Prime came out, and
Mm.
a lot of people, thanks Ninja, were using Twitch Prime at the time. And I know at some point its universal ad exemption policy got revoked. But do you think that Twitch Prime itself will be around forever?
It's a good question. I mean, Twitch Prime, it came not as something that and now it's called Prime Gaming,
Right.
right? It used to be Twitch Prime and now it's Prime Gaming. It's, it is right now run by a different part of Amazon. Prime Gaming is a different unit.
Mhm.
So I think it's something that adds a lot of value to our creators, okay, in terms of driving value to them. But I can't speak in terms of, long term, but I know right now I think it adds a lot of value and I like to see how we can keep driving that value.
Got it. Okay, interesting. Yeah. All right, one more question on this. I know there's a little bit of a policy back what was it, like a year ago? It looked like gambling websites were sort of banned off of Twitch, and I think there's a lot of misconceptions around like what actually got banned in terms of gambling. And I remember I did like a poker sponsor stream, and people were like, "Isn't this banned?" What actually is banned in terms of gambling on Twitch?
Yeah, we were very surgical in that because, in fact,
Mhm.
our view was, listen, people can decide what they want to watch, but the thing that was growing was these unregulated offshore gambling sites. And just for people that don't understand, right, these are sites that there is nobody overlooking to see, for example, what are the odds on the craps tables? Or do they tweak with them? Do they change them? Because they're not regulated. The team decides what they want to do. There's a reason that you have to VPN in and you can't, do it from most major countries. And so the amount of money that was flowing, where our creators was building the community and connection that they formed on Twitch to drive people to these sites, it was a significant amount of money to a small number of creators. And we decided we didn't think that was good for the community. So we decided we banned the unregulated, but in general, there's no problem with streaming gambling.
Mhm.
But we do have a problem if you're streaming these unregulated third-party sites.
Right. Do you ever see a world where Twitch unbans these unregulated websites?
I have a hard, like, all I can state is my own view,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, yeah. What is your
Um,
view?
uh, I have a hard time that if these sites become regulated because they're willing to adhere to like the regulations of the most major countries in terms of what they need to do to be a gambling site,
Mhm.
right? Then I'm like, well, of course. But if they can, if their position is no, we are not going to do the things that most of the major countries think is important in terms of consumer protection, then our view is we don't want that on Twitch driving our community to VPN in to these unregulated sites. I don't feel great about that aspect of it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I think we're like a little bit over time, so I wanted to grab one last topic and then we can get to outros if you don't mind. So, in terms of discoverability, I think the Twitch clip system is a really brilliant system and is very underutilized on Twitch. Um, and I know you mentioned that, for example, discoverability on Twitch itself isn't great. What about like sort of a Twitch clip live feed sort of style feature that users would have a reason to be on Twitch besides just long form content? For example, you could scroll through and find clips from your favorite streamers, or maybe you can find clips that make you watch new streamers.
Yeah. I think that's an area where we're exploring to see what's a good experience. Um, Anything that we do in this, though, we have to remember the need we're meeting, and we're very clear that we don't want to like try and siphon off time from the community experience on our live experience. We are a live community base, and this is a augmentation or a supplement to that to enhance discovery and not the primary means of engaging on Twitch.
Right. So basically, you're gonna say like whatever this feed might be, it would definitely be a backseat to the actual live streams themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Would you want to consider, there's a lot of really good moments on Twitch, and this sort of ties into monetization. I know another competitor is considering adding this feature to their content, which is, there's some really signature, well-known moments from Twitch's history. Could you ever see an additional monetization option being like making an NFT out of this clip? Like, I own this moment that happened in Twitch's history.
Interesting question. I will tell you, in general, my approach with NFTs is, and in general, cryptocurrency is, there are lots of ideas out there. The one thing I know is if you take 100 ideas, there are 5 or 10 of them that are really going to be like game changing and stay around. Now, there may be 80 of them that aren't going to work. Okay. And part of what we need to do is see what is naturally sticking and not just jump on the bandwagon, because we will still be here. So it's an interesting idea. And if that's an idea that we think would gain traction, but we need to make sure it's not just a side, like, yeah, little thing that a few people use, but like most people don't find it all that central. Right. And
Right.
so we're patient in that. We want to really have religion, because that's a good form of revenue, but it's not necessarily going to drive more usage. Okay. And I don't want if it's going to cannibalize your existing revenue.
That makes sense. Well, I guess the question is like, if people start making NFTs of these moments. I know like on YouTube, they like sold the NFT for Charlie Bit My Finger. Like imagine like, it's like something that's not exactly regulated, but it's still a monetization form that creators on Twitch would want to get into, if that makes sense.
That's great. In fact, sometimes what we do is we let these things develop
Right.
off, and then we determine if us doing it can make it better. So alerts is a great example. I think the reason we started doing alerts is because we thought us doing it can be better. Okay.
Right.
Guest star, those features already on Discord. I love them on Discord. The reason we decided to do it is because we thought we could do it better in terms of the security for our streamers. So I think with that, if it's the type of thing that we can make it better, usually we look to see what's already happening naturally.
Got it. Okay, interesting perspective. Okay, well, I think it's been like a pretty good, decent amount of time. We're a little bit over, so we go ahead and wrap this up. I wanted to ask you, is there anything you want to say to everybody that's hearing your voice for the first time? Any creators? What would you want to say?
I want to say thanks for being here. Thanks for all that you do. And again, there are millions of you, and especially, Filian now has become a star, right? So let's hear it for Filian, but she didn't start as a star. So I want to call out for all the people that still are finding, the community, and I really appreciate all that you do.
Thanks.
Now, am I going to get a hug?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay. I've never had a hug from a virtual anime character.
Yeah, a virtual anime girl. Okay, wait. How do we do this?
Yeah,
Let's go for the one arm here.
There we go.
Hey!
I've never been hugged by an anime character.
No, that's sick. Wait. Anything you do, it can happen in real life, because I'm effing real at this point. Like, you can punch me in the face right now. Fight me.
Wait. Are you sure?
Yeah, you can do it. I don't mind. Fight me.
All right,
you wouldn't.
What the heck? Here we go.
You wouldn't.
Here we go. Are you okay?
Thank you, good sir.
Filian,
this
hold
has
on,
been
hold
a
on,
really
hold on.
interesting
Filian,
experience.
Somebody get in there. Filian. I didn't mean to hit you so hard, Filian. I'm sorry.
Oh God, what'd you do to me? Holy frick, you're good. Is there anywhere we can catch up on the latest Dan Clancy action? Maybe your Twitch, shout outs, you know?
You can. So let's see. Well, I'm streaming tonight at 7.
Uh-huh.
And by the way, on social media, if you want to follow me, all my handles on social media as opposed to DJ Clancy, except for Twitch, are DJ Clancy 999.
Ooh.
Because years ago, I started
3,
using that as my
knockout.
username just because I could always get it. And I couldn't necessarily get DJ Clancy. But on Twitch, I'm at DJ Clancy, and everywhere else, DJ Clancy 999. So come say hi on the stream tonight if you want to, from 7 to 10.
All right, awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. If you're new here, hi, I'm Filian. It's nice to meet all of you guys. I stream most nights at 3 p.m. PT, and it's been a really big honor having you on here.
Well, it's been great being here, Philly, and thanks for having me. It's been really fun. Looking forward to, actually, we didn't talk about it, but looking forward to when I can hang out in VR chat with you.
True.
In a virtual world.
Yo, chat,
Okay.
what if you want me to hang out with Dan in VR chat? Well, we have one more announcement coming up right after this, so make sure to stay tuned for it. But besides that, I'm going to be live on this Friday. I think we're going to do a 32-hour stream because we just recently reached 600,000 followers on Twitch. So really looking forward to that. 32-hour stream, baby. But that is all the time we have for today. So, yeah, I think that's it. I think I'll see you guys later, all right? Goodbye, everybody! Have a good night!
Bye-bye, everybody.
Enjoy the teaser! Bye! See you guys there!